How to create your own real estate contract to close checklist, part 1. In this video series, we are going to cover my 5 tips for creating your own real estate contract to close checklist. Now, there's a lot of resources online. We actually sell a buyer Texas contract to close checklist in our online TC shop if you want to check it out. But whether you're a TC or an agent, there's going to be some tweaks you want to make when you're creating your own checklist from scratch. So in this video series, we're going to cover the 5 steps to create a great contract to close checklist all for yourself. So first and most important step of creating your own contract to close checklist is what has to be done in the real estate transaction. So you want to ask yourself what has to be done. Think about major transaction milestones. So for example, if there's a loan, the buyer's gonna have to apply for financing. There's probably gonna be an appraisal. They're gonna have to schedule a closing appointment and show up and actually sign the documents. They're gonna actually have to get their funds to the closing company, make sure everything's closed and funded, etc. Also, think about not just those major transaction milestones, but also brokerage requirements for the agent, or if you're the agent yourself, think about state or local requirements. So this is probably gonna be a lot of like paperwork items, timeline for submitting paperwork to the brokerage, anything else like that. So really anything that has to be done in terms of a state, legal, brokerage requirement, or major milestone. Then you wanna ask yourself, how do I fit into this step? For example, I mentioned appraisal earlier. You are probably not the one actually ordering the appraisals, but we want to make sure it's done. So an example of this would be changing that step to confirm with lender appraisal's been ordered. Or we need the buyer to deliver earnest money. We want to make sure they have the right information and instructions to do it, but we're not physically delivering it. And sometimes agents help with dropping off a check, but we want to make sure that it's done. So sending a reminder, then verifying, getting a receipt, etc., if that makes sense. So this is the first and most important step to setting up your contract to close checklist. Focus on what has to be done.